Hey guys, how's it going? It's Blaze, back with some more One Piece TCG content for y'all. Sorry I was a little bit late getting this market update out, but I was really busy this weekend with both a lot of craziness for work. I've got a demo of my indie game that I've been working on with the team coming out soon. I will show you all that and link once that trailer and demo is up so y'all can go check that out. But then also I was playing in some of the Heroine EBO3 battles. I managed to get 5th in one, bubbled out of the top due to bad tiebreakers despite going 4-1, and then I topped the one I played in tonight and ended up with a Nico Robin winner card, so that was really cool. Playing VV in both of them, slightly different lists. Not the list I made the video on, but hopefully I get some more tops and I will share that list with y'all soon. But anyway, as always, you can be entered into my giveaway for the Luffy Sabo Ace OP13 alt art card here if you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We're going to take a look at some EBO3 prices as well as the general state of the market right now. My cat is demanding being on my lap during this, and he's causing a commotion. You're already over here knocking stuff off my desk. He's also causing fights earlier. Yeah, you're causing a fight, aren't you? I'm going to hold you like a little baby on the camera for everybody. Oh, so embarrassing. Oh, look at that boy. Oh yeah, he's a troublemaker. He's a troublemaking boy. He demands attention, so he got it. He got to be in the intro this time. Normally he shows up like midway through my videos and demands attention. Well, he's happy with that, so he left. All right, with all that being said, let's get into the market. Okay, so we're going to take a look at some EBO3 stuff starting off here. Obviously, the top cards are beginning to settle in this set. We're seeing the Nami SP coming down from about, 1,600 or so down to like 14-ish. We haven't seen too many sales below the 1,500 mark, but we're seeing this. So this is near mint foil. This is an unverified, unverified here, but we do see near mint foil for 1,450 from a hobby store with a good number of sales here. I suspect we'll start to see more sales. They're slowing down a little bit as people are waiting for it to settle, but we will begin to see sales below the 1,500 line soon. Sorry, I realized in all my other videos I wasn't signed into TCG Player, so I wasn't actually getting the full list here, but yeah, now we're actually signed in. So the Uta manga also beginning to settle a little bit. Now this is higher than 1,400, I want to say, for near mint foils. Well, no, we got about 1,450 here as well, lowest listed. Looking at sales, we are actually seeing sales all the way down to like 1,100. Again, this is following a very similar pattern to what I predicted it would based off of the Mihawk manga from OP14. So I suspect that we will see this continue to fall until it's somewhere around the 1K 900-ish range. All right, moving on to the Nico Robin SP here. Obviously, we have a damaged one at 1K, but looking at lowest verified, we're looking more around 1,200, 1,250. I suspect this will come down a little bit more, probably not too much. We're seeing multiple sales here in the 1,200 range. I would definitely expect this to settle somewhere around 1,002-ish. I feel like this one should end up kind of being above the manga, but below the Nami overall. Let's go to Boa. We've got Boa, again, about where I predicted it, a little higher. I think this might still be a little high. Seeing near mint going for about $1,000. I suspect this will settle somewhere between like $800 to $1,000. I don't think this is the best looking Boa SP, but it is one of the rarer ones if you consider EBO3 to be short printed. Despite the fact that we're getting a reprint, I know that that is definitely affecting the speculation to some degree. Next up, VV, hanging in around 500, seeing sales in the 500 range. And then, you know, we kind of go down the list. Reiju, 300-ish. Again, you're going to see sales over 300 here, between 325, 375 for most of these. Same kind of deal with the Uta. The Reiju and the Uta are behaving pretty similarly. Sales down to like 300. That's light play, but a little over 300 near mint. Corona, again, same kind of range here. A lot of these kind of secondary tier, I guess you would say. EBO3 SPs kind of ended up in the 300 range. The Koala has fallen way down, all the way below 250, down to like 230, 235. I could see it still going down a little more. And then the Tashigi down to about 150, 160, continuing to see sales there. I suspect these are getting close-ish to where they'll settle, but they could still have a little bit further down to go. You go to the Nami, that's around 130-ish. Yeah, 135, 140, somewhere in that ballpark. I think this card could go down a little bit. I also just really am not a fan of that card. The Boa settling in around $100 also. So things have fallen for EB. And then if you go and look at all the alt arts and everything, these have all settled in pretty much in the like $20 to $30 range, if not lower for most of them. I mean, they're pretty far down now. You go and you look at the VV leader alt art down to about $20. Things very prevalent. A lot of these are sub $20 even. But yeah, not too much else to talk about here other than that. EBO3 has gone down a lot. It's settling. Box prices are also continuing to go down. We've got boxes around 330. I think the closer this gets to 300, the more sense it makes to kind of buy some of these. Because the thing is, right now, everybody's very nervous, right? Everybody's, oh, everything's going down. This is getting reprinted. It's not that rare. The supply is not that limited as much as people expected it to be. Into the future, I mean, think about a year from now, right? Is that really still going to be the case a year from now? No, of course it's not. It's going to be a lot more similar to like EBO2, I suspect. Maybe a little more well-supplied than EBO2, but a similar growth pattern, right? Once that reprint kind of is over with and we start to see the fear around the set settle down a little bit. Gold Dawn's also gone for around 60 to 70 bucks. You look at these, oh no, more like 80, I guess. And you see, yeah, sales around that 80, I guess it's like 70 to 80. The Boa one being above the Nami is kind of surprising me. Nami down around 75. And the Robin around 65. Sales between, yeah, like 60, 65, so. Now, zooming out and going to the broader market in general here, obviously the really high listed stuff is staying high listed, but we are starting to see significant movement of a lot of this stuff. Let's hop over to eBay for a bit and take a look at a couple sold listings. There's a few that I think are kind of informative of like the general trajectory of things right now. So we're seeing this Nami EBO3 SR going for around 130 sold, so a little lower even than what we're seeing on TCG. A lot of people are trying to list, around 140, but that's what we're seeing sold, as well as the Boa selling at about 1.1K. This pretty much tracks Koala all the way down to 210 in terms of a sold here. So we're seeing this pretty much crash down to like the 200 mark there. Not too shocking. As far as mangas go, in the past week we have seen a Nami sell for a little under 3K here in a PSA 10. Still holding pretty strong, the Namis, at close to 3K as far as PSA graded ones go. Manga Uta here. This is in GBP. I believe this is like 1.1K-ish or a little under 1.1K in US dollars, as well as the Sanji here from PRB2, holding a surprisingly strong price here, sold for an ungraded raw copy. Again, mangas actually holding fairly solid in certain cases, in other cases not so much. There's also another, where did I see it? We did also see a PRB01 reprint PSA 10 Shanks, also selling for 3.2K here, a little above that 3K mark. A little bit surprised by this one because we saw the Shanks dip so hard from the OP01, but it seems like this God Pack one has actually sold a little bit higher than I believe we saw one sell for like 3.1 or 3 even from OP01. So this card might be starting to creep back up a little bit. You're seeing them listed at 3.2 or 3K ungraded here. Surprised to see the graded copy so close to the ungraded copy here, but yeah. So obviously, as far as sold listings on eBay goes, we're still seeing that kind of reflect the TCG player prices as far as most of the EBO3 stuff goes. But jumping back over to TCG player listings, you know, a lot of this stuff is creeping down, but it's not crashing down. We are seeing a near mint Sanji here for 2K, so there's still, you know, copies available for a little bit lower than what we saw the last sold one on eBay was looking like. We did see the Mihawk manga coming down a really significant amount here, down all the way to $867 here. I picked up one of these recently, and I picked it up for closer to 1K, so seeing this come down here, a little bit unfortunate, but you know, the thing is when you're in kind of a market dip like this, you don't really know when it's going to start popping back up. I suspect that, you know, we're still going to see a little bit more declines, but the thing about it is a lot of this stuff's going to come back up when you're buying in during a dip. You do have to accept that things may continue to dip. You may be buying in at a higher price than what you're seeing next week. So personally to me, based off what I'm seeing, I think this is a good time to start buying in. You might feel like you're overpaying a little bit for some of this stuff, but when you see a card, you know, kind of dipping, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to try and jump on it sooner than later, because you might start to see other people buying them up again. And you really never know when one of these big buyouts is going to like happen very suddenly. So personally, I think it makes sense to play it safe on some of these and try to get in before that happens. OP13 Ace down to 1.1K. The Bubble Zoro has dropped down to around the 900, under 1,000. Not too much under 1,000, but we're down to under 1,000 here. We have seen some going for about 900-ish, so pretty significant drop there. Kind of seeing, you know, continued dips. I still think this card is, you know, pretty good deal. I mean, we're seeing that this is held pretty solidly at around 900. So, you know, it's interesting to see that some of the less inflated cards are holding their value, which to me tells me that like some of the values on some of the other cards had gotten a little bit out of hand here. Again, stuff like the Nami SP, this is holding quite solidly in the 900 range from the OP08 version. There's a lot of good cards that are continuing to hold value quite well. Some things, like for example, this Law manga that I think was kind of slept on for a while, you know, you're seeing this continue to retain a lot of its value, selling at around 700 to 800. I mean, it got up here for a little while to like 1K or so, but this was really just in like kind of mid-January, and now it's kind of back to around where it was. So that was only a spike for a couple weeks there. I don't really consider that too indicative of what the going rate is looking like. People are trying to get 5K for a Shanks. That's not happening. Now, I think you go to a set like, for example, OP14, and you will see that this set has been hit like significantly harder, right? You look at this BOA here, yeah, and we're down to near mint at like 650. So this card has lost, you know, a really significant amount of its value. You compare it to even just a couple of weeks ago up here around 800, 2 weeks ago down to 650 now. If this was a card that you were, waiting on, maybe, now's a good time, now or the next couple of weeks. You don't know when somebody might try to, make this thing shoot back up. Stuff like the Perona, I mean, this thing's down quite significantly from its high of close to 400. We're down to like 150 for this now. So again, and that's another card where like it dipped down to like 200. I was like, okay, 200 is my threshold for that card. I'm gonna buy that card for 200 bucks. So I'm down $50 on the card right now, but like you don't need to worry about it that much, because in the future, right, there's going to be a time where OP14 is one of the older sets, right? It's gonna be a lot harder to get. A lot of these cards are going to be in the graded population. It's not going to be this card where the scarcity has run out on it forever. One that I did not expect to dip this dramatically though is the You'll Frighten Me alt art here manga event. I mean, this thing has basically cratered down to 180 from a high of like 400 plus. This is kind of crazy to see. OP14 continuing to get hammered right now. A lot of stuff like, some of these EBO4 SPs getting close to or below $100. We've got, the alt art for the BOA down from like 200 to like 85-ish. But this is kind of good. This is kind of what you want to see. So if you're a collector, if you're somebody who actually, wants to be establishing more into the One Piece space right now, I mean, this is great for you. This is what you want to see. I know a lot of people are getting scared and they're running off back to Pokemon. That's good. Like, let those people do that. As far as if you are actually interested in, holding for significant returns or for actually filling out a collection in the One Piece space, I mean, I think this is what you want to see, right? Like, if you want stuff from OP14, this is what you want to see. A lot of people, they only are interested when things are really expensive, and that is like completely the opposite of how you should be operating. So you see this, I guess we're heading into, this is kind of bear market territory, very, very lightly. I mean, this is more just a general correction, but I mean, if you want to see it that way, you can see it that way. So we're back to reality on stuff like the PRB to Luffy. I mean, again, this is a card that, was $150 when it came out. It's still 500. So that's still like crazy, right? I mean, this card's not even old. So in the context of that, we kind of see this as like, oh my gosh, everything's going down. But like in the context of how things were even, 3-4 months ago, not even 6 months ago, like this is relatively not that crazy of a dip, really, right? Obviously, we just had the Heroines battles. We're seeing the Heroine battle winner cards going for quite a bit here. I suspect that these will come down pretty significantly. I mean, Nico Robin at over $300. This is crazy. I didn't even realize this was as high as it is when I did the battles over the weekend. Nami also around 300. I didn't realize the Robin was the top one out of all of them. Wow, okay. Well, that's good for me, I guess. It is the one that's played, so I suppose that makes sense, right? But yeah, I mean, stuff like this is going to be good. Where's the Bonnie? I guess the Bonnie is like way further down than them? Is it really that much less? I don't even see it. I'm not sure. It might just not be listed. Like, that's the other thing. TCG Player can be a little funky sometimes with stuff like that, right? But yeah, I mean, so like winter cards and like event really, short printed stuff that's like specifically for events, obviously is still, retaining a lot of value. Things like these kinds of like championship cards doing pretty well. Stuff like these treasure cup cards. I mean, that's crazy. I don't think people are buying that, but like, yeah, doing pretty well. Finalist cards obviously going to do quite well. This one being from 2024. Looks like we are seeing, yeah, I mean, not a ton of sales on this, but we're up from like 250 up to like 500 on this, right, for a near mint foil. I don't think anyone's buying it for $1,000 here, which is what this person has it listed at. But again, they are the only listing, so they are setting the floor. Store Treasure Cup Sabo. I can't believe how nice this Store Treasure Cup Sabo is. I'm kind of mad I didn't sign up for any of these Store Treasure Cups for OP13 because holy crap, that's a really nice card. This one's a little more volatile. You know, you're seeing everything from selling the 200s to selling up to 500 here. But you know, I think if the market dipping is something that scares you, moving your money into this kind of stuff is probably not necessarily a bad idea, because these are kind of cards that aren't going to be affected by, like, if Bandai announces a reprint or anything like that. I mean, obviously, I'm just kind of stating like it's sort of common sense, right? You know, stuff like this also, like PSA limited copies. You know, you're seeing near mint around like 276. This isn't like a card that's blown up or anything, but it kind of went way up for a little bit, up to like 400, 300, 400. Not way up, but like, and now it's back to around a little more than, you know, what it was kind of before the big boom. So you're going to see, you know, these hold pretty strong. These aren't cards that people are going to be able to get super easily. Treasure Cup cards. I mean, this Treasure Cup, this is like a full Treasure Cup though, not a store Treasure Cup. But yeah, these Treasure Cup cards. And the thing about these Treasure Cup cards is they're actually, I think, going to mostly just get more high in value, because the way that they're doing Treasure Cups now is they're overlapping them with the regionals. So the players are going to have to choose, okay, do we play in the Treasure Cup or do we play in the regional? Which is going to make a lot of them, and there's no more online Treasure Cups. So a lot of these are going to become a little, I think, more scarce, just because there are less events, and the events that there are that you're able to get a lot of these cards in are becoming, you know, directly competing with the regional. So you're going to have people having to decide, okay, do I want to play in the regional? Do I want to try to get into Nats here and get up there competitively? Or am I going to play for this, I guess you could say, more rare prizing compared to a regional? Because a lot of these Treasure Cup cards are, you know, they are going for more than some of the regional cards. And when you see them next to each other, especially the untextured regional cards versus the Treasure Cup cards, these Treasure Cup cards are, you know, they're textured, they have unique borders, they are very nice. So, and kind of unique as far as the style of them goes. All right, let's switch over to taking a look at some sealed product really quick. So sealed product has been taking a little bit of a hit here. You've got OP01 taking a small dip here, down from about 6K, a lot sold at 6K, down to like 5.8K here. So we are starting to see a slight dip in terms of the prices of sealed, which, you know, is probably going to contribute to a slightly larger dip in prices of sealed if people get a little freaked out. Looks like people are not super worried on the white bottoms. They're continuing to, well, they're down a little bit from like 2K down to, well, actually, I guess these have been hit a little harder if you look at the sold prices. People are getting them for 1,700. Not bad. So this might not be a bad time to buy into some sealed here. Taking a look at OP05. OP05 looking pretty unaffected, to be honest. Seeing, you know, sales sticking at 1K pretty hard. I think this is a set that is kind of hard to knock down a peg very much. PRB01 down a little bit from its highest highs, but not really too much. You know, we're seeing a drop from like 900 down to about 850 or so. It's like $50 cheaper than it was. EB01 pretty much unaffected. Still hanging at that 850. It's not climbing anymore though. It seems like it's kind of hit a ceiling here where it is resting very comfortably at that 850 number and just kind of not really moving up or down much at all. Similar to, well, no, this has moved down. So we've got down from about 750, OPO3 down to like 600 or so. I think this makes more sense for OPO3. I think the climb up, like some of the prices people were buying, particularly 03 and 04 for, didn't make a ton of sense to me. OPO9 sitting around 600, down from highs of around 700, but I mean 600 for this set seems entirely reasonable. Couple sold for 650. OPO2 like 500, dipping down a little bit now. 500, 500, 500. Yeah. So sealed taking a hit, not like a crazy hit though. EBO2 down surprisingly low for given what its high was. Although I know it's been chilling at 500 for a while now. I am still a little surprised to see it. Listen, 475, just below that 400 number. But I guess these are these are unverified. So, well, no, 485. I mean, still close to 500, but not really that big of a hit, actually. Although it did really shoot up for a while there. I think it feels like more of a hit just because it got really dramatically shot up there for a bit. OP11 still around that 400 mark. So not like serious hits to sealed, but it does seem like there are people trying to offload some boxes, maybe a little bit shaken up by the fact that, you know, these graphs are pointing down right now. But I see this as, you know, a really good opportunity for people who were wanting to kind of get a foot in the door before and weren't really feeling like they had an opportunity because, you know, people are getting priced out. The prices got really, really crazy. They're actually still really crazy. Like, that's the thing about this. These boxes being, you know, $300, $400, $500, $600, it's still quite a lot, especially for like loose boxes. You start talking about case prices, you know, I don't even want to get into case prices because I don't feel like I want to talk on things I don't feel qualified to talk on. And I've never bought a case of anything ever, right? I do not either open or invest in cases. It's not something that I have. I don't like really feel like, obviously I understand when you're buying a case, you're paying at a premium for a lot of these older cases because there are mapped hits to a certain degree in a case, right? Like in a case of One Piece, there's a set number of SPs. There's a set chance at a manga. Although mangas are not guaranteed in a case. Manga is not a case hit. I think a manga is a 1 in somewhere between 2 to 4. We'll call it like a 1 in 3 chance to have it in a case. If you're buying loose booster boxes, you know, chances are you're buying them from somebody who bought a case when you buy them on the secondary market, obviously, not from an LGS or whatever. Or at least this shouldn't be happening if you're buying from an LGS. They're people who have opened cases, gone through, gotten X amount of hits to where they feel like, okay, you know, this case is probably dead now. And then they're selling off the excess boxes that they have after that, right? Obviously, EBO3 absolutely fell off a cliff here, going down from, you know, close to 7K down to about 4.2 here. Yeah, high sale of 7K. But, you know, if you want to buy a case of this set, you know, people are buying them heavy. These cases are moving very quickly, right? So if you want to like establish serious money positions in these sets, you are buying cases. You are not the person who is worried about being priced out though, right? Like you're kind of operating on that higher level where you're not that worried about the, you know, individual booster box price going down. And that's something that I want to point out to everybody. It's like average of 2 sold per day. It looks like more than that to me. I mean, I think people are trying to swoop in and buy up some cases of this on the dip here. And, you know, that's how you should be thinking about stuff like this. In the future, a sealed case of EB anything is going to be quite a bit, right? You look at EBO2. This is like 6K, 7K. Yeah, down from the highs, but this stuff is not going to be as easy to get, or there's not going to always be that idea of, oh my god, a reprint is coming, right? Like the reprint's going to happen and then it'll be over, and then all of a sudden having a sealed case of this stuff is worth a lot more. So all right, but that about wraps it up for me. I just wanted to kind of tap back in, see how much things have been getting hit, see where EBO3 is settling. The thing that's really surprised me is just how brutally OP14 is being kind of smashed back down to earth after this massive skyrocket. But I guess that's what you should expect with a lot of the pre-release prices. Obviously with pre-release, the thing that's surprising about it is like the normal cycle and something like that is like, a few weeks after the pre-release bubble pops and it's been like out to general retail for a couple weeks, you kind of start usually seeing where stuff settles. With OP14, like it has just continued to go down and down and down. But let me know what you guys think. Is this market going to continue crashing downwards? Is this an overall correction? Are we entering like a full-scale bear market for One Piece, or is this kind of just like a cool-off break before things start popping off again? We got a set coming up with 2 different mangas in it, the EB04 manga and the OP15 manga included, and then boom, there we are, not far away from global release. And then after we get our first global release stuff, boom, another anniversary set. And so the cycle continues, right? So that's kind of how I'm feeling about it. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. You can hit me up on Instagram. Again, this is all just my opinion, so take it all with a grain of salt. But yeah, that's about it for me. So until next time, peace.